am, eh?
Mhm. Okay, if you want to get
Okay.
started.
All right, so I am happy to chair today. Let me pull up our agenda. There we are, scrolling to the top. Thank you so much to everyone for sending this out. So the first thing, I guess we'll call this meeting to order. And number one on our agenda is approval of our agenda and the introduction of any late items. Does anyone have anything they wanted to add to the agenda today?
Can we add an on-table election of chair?
Sure.
Thank you. That can
Right.
be item number 4.1, I guess. After.
Uh, Excellent. So should we nominate a chair for this meeting?
I nominate Bobby.
Oh, okay. And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Karen. All right. So I'm happy to chair the meeting today. And I guess we need to then approval of the agenda, staff. Yep. So can we have a motion to approve the agenda? Motion from Allison, second from
Karen, you're gonna have to second everything.
everything.
Okay.
And from Karen, I'm just going to say that
It's a
over and
big
over again.
responsibility, Karen. It all comes down to you.
Great. Okay, so next, number two on our agenda, we have the adoption of the minutes. I'm sure everyone read through those minutes.
Yeah, they're
And
fine. I'll
excellent.
move adoption.
And then I'm going to guess that Karen would like to second that. Excellent.
We're on
Great.
a roll here.
We are on a roll. So number three, this public comments. Do we have any members of the public here today?
No members of the public.
All right, well then we can move on to number four, which is background information. 4.1 Community Grants Awards History. Did we
So I think this is provided because members like to know who has received what in the past.
Yeah.
So we can use it as reference for you, or yeah, or we can review it
we
on
want to go
screen.
over? I pulled up last, so this is unusual because usually it's been a whole year
Right.
since the last time we've met, and we just met in the summer. So just for a little recap, in the summer we had Bowen Island. Oh no, I'm looking at this one. I pulled up the last
Here,
one.
I'll share this.
Ag.
One. Mhm.
Yeah, we had the Bow Fest, Swim Bowen, IPS, Bowen Island Library Foundation, Bowen Island Pride, Bowen Children's Center, Birch, Bowen Island Conservancy, Bowen Island Food Resilience Society, and Light Up Bowen. And from those, we decided to have another round this fall so that we could review Light Up Bowen and Birch again, and also because there was a surplus of funds, so to give other organizations the opportunity to apply for those funds. Would that be a correct summation
Yep.
of why we're meeting again? Okay. So we have then some new applicants for this fall, and then we're reviewing Light Up Bowen and Birch.
Yeah.
So that is a little background of what we're doing here now. I guess we can move on then to,
Just letting Yvonne welcome. We can welcome Yvonne.
oh,
Oh, good.
hi, Yvonne. Okay, so we're just going to hop into number 5 on the agenda, which is the applications review. Typically, we have staff is so kind to provide us with this table where we can kind of grade each application. There's fewer applications for this round and there's smaller amounts. So it's a little different. Did we want to just go around and perhaps say whether we agree with recommending the full ask to council? for each one. Is that all right?
Do you just want to start and work your way down the list? I like the museums first and
Sure, let's go through. So 5.1 is the Bowen Island Museum and Archives. So they've asked for $2,000 for flood reparation. I'm happy to start for this one. I recommended giving the full amount.
yeah, me too.
Um, it's seems like a good use of money. It was a clear application. Yeah. Allison, you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Yvonne? Hi, Yvonne. What did you think of the application for museums? And yeah, thumbs up. Love it. Karen,
Karen, thumbs
thumbs
up.
up.
Okay.
I guess we don't need to discuss any more than that.
That one was easy.
Easy peasy. All right, excellent. The next one is IDLC, though I think this is from the Parents Planning Committee, not from the school itself. Would that be fair
Oh, let me look at
assessment?
the,
Or is it the same? That was one thing I
it
wasn't
says IDLC Planning Council.
right.
Hmm.
Okay.
I have a question about that one.
Yeah.
I remember in the last time we met, um, we were discussing, I think it was IPS and whether there was a different grant that was more kind of in line with what their request was. And I was wondering if this fell into that same category. Do you remember that discussion? Anyone?
Oh, IPS was looking for money for their bursaries.
Yeah, but then we were saying there's like another grant available that might be more kind of in line with what they provide. Because I think there was some, um, you know, not discrepancy. We weren't sure how it directly benefited the community.
Yeah.
And we were
Hmm.
wondering if there was like another grant that they should apply for instead.
Okay.
And
So
I can't
you're
remember.
asking a similar question to what I asked Kristen the other day. And IDLC is not a private school, if I'm understanding Kristen correctly. And Bobby, you got this knowledge. So it is actually run through the provincial school system.
Hmm.
So it's a public school. So it's different from IPS in that respect.
Oh,
That is
Um,
true.
I didn't
yeah,
realize they were public. I didn't realize they were part of the school district.
yeah, I didn't either. That's
They're
why
not part of the Westland School District, but they're part of the Powell River School District.
Oh, okay.
yeah, so homeschooling is, they fit into that category, I think. So,
Okay.
um, my question had more to do with, there's an awful lot of money still to be raised. And so can they access, I mean, if we give them $2,000 and they've still got to raise, I think it's like 10,000 or something. Um, did, can they, is that money going to go through?
Hmm. And I feel like they
Um,
had a lot of money in the bank as well, though. Didn't they have like
yeah,
30,000?
so my question was, can they use the money in that parent account to do this?
Hmm. Yeah, I wasn't really clear on
Yeah,
the financial need there when we were given financials that show 34,000
yeah.
in the
And then
bank.
and my other
Another
concern
question I had too is their school grounds. I
are
know
leased.
we used the example of IPS where we did, I believe, gave them some money for their um, the outdoor area, but that
Yeah,
was available to the public. Whereas is this schoolyard available to the public to use after school hours? Um, when I think back of supporting any schools, it's because that equipment has been also, uh,
available to the general
mhm,
population.
yeah,
Yeah,
just a question I had about that if we were funding it.
Yeah,
I guess
I'm
we should have.
I'm I'm not aware of that. I've been there before and it's yeah, it's quite nice, but I'm not sure about that piece whether it's available. So I don't want to misspeak. I don't want to speak out of turn and I don't know.
Yeah, because they didn't really mention
Well,
that in.
it's up a long driveway and it's going to be fenced.
Hmm.
I know when they used to be down here in my general area, the it was not there was a sort of outdoor little kids playground area, but that wasn't open to the general public. The fence was always shut. And I don't think any sort of welcome sign. So I would guess they're not intending it to be general public. But
Is there any way we could find out, get answers to those two questions and make a decision based on that?
or
I'm
make a
just
decision to
texting the
say,
owner to see if we can get any information about public use. What was the
Yeah.
second question?
is it going to be available to the public to use after school
You
hours?
could make the are you suggesting that the recommendation would be contingent on access by the general public after regular school hours?
Yeah,
If the recommendation is contingent on that, then certainly, you could make that recommendation. It is a privately owned, lot, so it's different from publicly owned land in that the
Yeah.
public doesn't have the right to just go and trespass on it
True.
after hours. So
Right.
I'm quite certain that it's not open to, because it's a private lot, so,
so is the IPS one though.
Yeah, I just
They
got a
are-
response that it's not gonna be open for public.
yeah.
So then the other question was the 34,000. So what, in what respects, based on their current financial status, is the 2,000, what is that related to based on what they have in the bank?
Well, the grant application is showing, just a minute, let me see if I can find the dollars. A budget for the whole project of $25,000, and they've spent 9,400, and they're looking, they haven't said where the money's coming from.
That was another
Other-
thing. Yeah, there's a balance of 16,000, but there's no
Yeah,
revenue side to this budget.
yeah, they've
been presented.
yeah, they haven't shown any income side.
But in
that
the
I-
year-to-date financials, they do show that they had the operating, I'm not sure what the operating
They've
budget
got
is
something
for a
called the
parent account, but
this parent account, and it's got $34,000 in it.
And there's a van contingency. I guess that's for they have a school van, I'm guessing. Another contingency and then an operating. And I
Yeah,
don't know what any of that really pertains to. But I wasn't clear is like what is the operating
yeah.
for a parent planning committee? So I wasn't really clear on what these funds.
Well, that would be their
Like-
operating account probably at the credit union.
But is it for the school or just for this planning committee?
Oh, good point.
That's the point. Nothing's really sort of clear. So
Mhm.
it's the whole point of, can we get clarity on what this is in relation to what you have? And
Yeah.
is other funding earmarked for another particular project that you're not identifying, which if you could, that would be great.
Yeah.
La, la,
So
la,
at
la.
so at November 13th, I mean, they do show operating, it's opening balance. They show $19,000 worth of revenue and $5,000 worth of expenses. I'm on page 12 of 13 of the grant application. So they've got a $15,000 or $14,000 surplus just for the year to date already.
I have a question. So this sports complex is going to be on this private property. So what
Yeah.
happens if we stop renting this property?
That's the other question I've got.
That's a very good question. Because they don't own it.
No,
And also this lot is operating under a temporary use permit as well.
oh,
I
right.
think they got their rezoning.
Oh, they did.
Did they
Yeah.
get the rezoning? I can't remember. I remember the top.
I think they did. I can look it up, but I think they came in for that. Remember, Alan came to council and
I thought
Um,
that was the top.
I don't think
look into
I
it.
think the rezoning has just been applied for. I don't think it's,
Yeah,
but I need to see after.
I think the three, yeah, it was 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
So the piece to this, it serves
Oh, there's
60
Murray.
children on Bowen, which is a fairly significant number.
Yeah,
The element for me that would be then if it's not land that's owned and it's being leased, is there a way to do this, what they're doing in a way that it's portable? Like if they had to move, they could take what they put in and transport that and replant it somewhere else.
I was thinking the same thing because they've got equipment in there. They've got the basketball hoop and something else related to it. And
Because
so I
60
was,
is no small number. I'm just saying.
yeah.
It's a big
so
investment on land that you don't own.
Yeah. So $2,000 is for the equipment and then the fencing, which could be moved if it was metal fencing and equipment.
Yeah,
they-
and I
Yeah.
remember in our last meeting, we had a similar discussion around Light Up Bowen with regards to a container and what happens to that after, whose
Oh.
property is it
Yeah.
for?
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I lean for all these reasons towards not funding this project. But I really do want to support the kids and having, outdoor
Activities, yeah.
activities, but something this permanent on rented land with what you think is still temporary use permit. I don't know if I would want to support investing a quarter, $25,000 into that situation.
Can
Well,
we
it's-
then
We
invest
could
in something like that?
we could write to them, we could encourage them to submit another application at a later date for an alternative proposal that was for some project or event or in some way that they could be supported.
Or even if it was for one of those portable basketball hoops, the ones where you have
Equipment, yeah.
the black
Yeah.
thing at the bottom that gets filled with water. So I think if we would be willing to fund something like that because it could go wherever they go.
Yeah, something that can go with them,
Yeah,
that they can own, because we're
Yeah.
investing in the owners of that property having an asset on their land
yeah,
that does benefit the school, but not, we don't know how long.
So it's a medium thumbs up until we
It's
can
a,
figure it out, until we can figure out how it gets transportable.
yeah.
Or
We
we
want to
say,
support their activities, but it needs to be something that the school can own it on its own.
Yeah.
so we could say we would be supportive of providing a grant to fund a portable basketball hoop.
Mhm.
That's what they've got down at Bix.
Or a pickleball net.
Or
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Equipment, whatever. it
something
is.
that's
Sporting equipment.
movable.
Mhm.
Yeah, sporting equipment, yeah.
So how does that translate to them? Like this is the round of applications now.
See you in the spring.
Wait till the
Well,
summer.
we could grant them $2,000 conditional on
Okay.
it being used for the purchase of a portable basketball hoop or some,
Yeah.
pickleball.
Portable
Portable
equipment.
sporting equipment, portable
Yeah.
sporting equipment.
Yeah,
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 yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I was wrong. The temporary use permit was achieved and they're now applying for rezoning. It's received
Yeah,
first
yeah.
reading, not been
Mhm.
granted yet. Sorry about
and presumably that would go with a long-term lease too, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they'd want to have a permanent basketball hoop because it would limits a little bit what you can use the paved surface for. Okay. Moving
Okay,
along
next,
here.
Yeah, moving along. Okay, so I guess just to recap, we are going to then recommend that
Up to 2,000.
$2,000 for
Portable.
sports equipment, portable sports equipment that they can take with them if they were ever to leave this facility.
Yeah.
Okay, and then to come back again for anything else.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, so the next application that we have, I'm just scrolling here, is we have the Legion. I supported this 100%.
Yeah.
Anyone else not? All big thumbs up. I love the thumb bubble.
I'm supportive of it, even though the expenses didn't add up.
I got
Oh,
that
yeah,
too,
well,
yeah.
it's, they've included for free, yeah, the accounting methodology was not correct, but, because they included the, donated items in as an expense. So that's why it doesn't add up. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but I did appreciate them actually showing us the items, how much those items were going to
Oh,
be.
yeah, yeah.
Really worked on getting someone to do the work. So, and the Legion is fantastic. I almost wish they had asked for more. I mean, we see that there's.
I'm gonna tell them.
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's posted online.
Oh, does Yvonne have a conflict of interest here?
Not anymore.
Oh, you're not on the board anymore.
Oh, so yeah, so great. So we all recommend that 2,000 to the Legion.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Can't wait to try it out. Okay. Next, and I believe this is our last one. Oh,
No, just a couple more.
there is a couple more. That's right. So next is Light Up Bowen.
I don't have a problem with this now because they seem to have gotten their act together in that they've set up an independent society and that sort of thing. And it is a much beloved community event.
Mhm.
Absolutely. They did
not
great
as-
work. Great volunteers come together. The one thing I did notice is in their application, their budget, which is quite different from the last one we saw.
Yeah.
But their GoFundMe is far surpassed what their budget is now. So if we give them $2,000, we're giving them like they're at almost 8,500 in their GoFundMe, which covers their budget.
Oh, I thought they were only at 6 in the GoFundMe.
Well, that's what they said in their application, but I checked it today and it's
Oh, okay. But are their sponsorships the same amount as they were hoping?
They're more.
I don't know. We don't have that.
Yeah, they've just got sponsorships and merchants
Oh.
donations, which I assumed was their year to date, their yeah, and I think they've gotten a fair amount through those too. Looking at the flyer.
But knowing Basha, she'll just go out and she'll buy more stuff. And make
But
it
it's a
even
whole
better.
it's a whole
It's
board now.
done. They don't need, yeah. And they can't use the orchard this year, so
And I think there's just some questions I still have because the last application, like where to store it, was such a big question, and where is everything being stored now?
I think
And
it's
the amount of lights is so much less, or so much more than the last application, and the two applications don't refer to each other.
yeah.
And their budget now is fulfilled with their fundraising. So do we give money to an organization that has fulfilled their own budget that they've asked for with their own fundraising?
They're requesting 2,000, right? I thought last time they requested 5.
5 to 10,000.
5 and
Oh,
10.
they wanted a huge amount the last time to buy a storage container and all sorts of stuff, so.
And the application doesn't address the storage piece, which was such like.
Yeah, where is all this stuff
a
going to be?
significant piece
Yeah.
of this application.
So it was said to be such a huge issue, but now it's not talked about.
Yeah.
So like, do we know if that container is still going to be bought with all this money? Like we haven't had, like, did we hear back from these questions? Because we did send that
No.
letter. Was that letter addressed in any way?
The letter, they sent back a letter to, explain how they set aside the society, they've set up the society and stuff now.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we didn't
What
get.
about asking for that letter? What about saying, listen, I get the lights thing because I do the lights thing with Noah at Enswell Farm and I send a ton of money every year to be able to do that because lights die.
Mhm.
So I understand they need to have something coming in. And maybe as a society down the road, they can figure out, you know, when they're doing this big thing, you've got a little donation pot so people can, you've got to have a little bit of something in the tank for the next year because you never know. That said, then it should be, if you're asking for more money again this year, you need to respond to what it is that we've sent out as a letter from last year around, you know, were the things purchased that you said that were going to be purchased? Because this 2,000 is conditional on that.
I
So-
did the part in her letter where it addresses the storage. So it says, at the time of writing the initial grant application, our current storage situation was under some danger of becoming unavailable. As for now, our current storage remains as is, but we will be looking at moving to a storage rental here on Bowen in the next year. This will ensure that our equipment is kept dry and secure with easy access for future board members and volunteers. That's exactly what we suggested or recommended that they do. And I did have a conversation with one of the storage providers on Island, Cam, who has that store
Yeah.
on the west side. I did call him and ask him kind of typical storage rates and such. So certainly, if the committee were to approve the $2,000 with the condition that it be used to support the storage going forward, that I think is a completely reasonable way to address this. That certainly they have fundraised more than they expected. That's amazing. Long term, we do want to really ensure that this event is sustainable, and making sure that they always have somewhere to store that gear year after year, I think is a really big piece of that.
So just looking at page 7 of the application, and there's an email underneath it. It says, which I'm assuming relates to the numbers. It says, please accept the attached spreadsheet as our current financial data, and we're a new profit still setting up. And they've got sponsorships and merchant donations, 3,400, GoFundMe, 6,200, but Bobby says it's now 8 something. And some direct deposits to the credit union. So they've got close to 10,000 in funding, and they've spent just about 5. So they've got 5,000 left, which says for balance remaining, lights and food and supplies for a holiday party. I'm not sure what the holiday party is. I'm assuming that's the event on the 30th. So
Yeah,
do they
that's-
need the 2,000, I guess?
Yeah, the party would be the gathering down at the hearth.
Yeah, the stage and Santa and all that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so looking at that, and everything's up, it's all decorated. So
I feel like we gave them some recommendations, and I feel like they went out and really listened to the advice and
yeah,
did
Yeah,
everything
they've done a
that
good job doing
was
that.
asked of them. And I think this is one of those community events that's really well supported by everybody in the community.
Yeah, I feel like
You
my
target it to the
my
storage,
mindset
that's a big
is
deal.
that she's spent so much of her own money for so many years and never been reimbursed. So I'm okay to give them $2,000.
well, I guess I mean, they seem to have cleaned up their act, so that's why I'm sort of leaning towards giving them something, whether it's 2 or 1.
No, give them 2, because they
Okay.
usually
Yeah.
ask for a lot more, and this is tagged to storage, and they're gonna need
Yeah.
that. Give them the 2, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without a doubt. So moved.
Well, I'll put them all into one recommendation for council as our normal practice.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that leaves us with just one.
Well, 2
did-
more because I
you
don't
do
have.
Try, Bobby, every time.
God, keep trying. I mean, it's
Well, first
Listen
isn't
here.
on the list I'm looking at.
Last one, no, second
was
one.
late.
last one.
Bobby wants
Now
to
is it
leave
the last
early.
one?
Seniors
Okay,
keeping
let's
young.
see here. Scrolling, I'm scrolling.
Yeah, seniors keeping young.
Ah,
This is a no-brainer. That
Yeah.
should just be it's a rail. That we shouldn't even be talking about it. We should just be doing this.
Yeah, so my only question is, which I think
Oh.
will need to be verified, the Blue Cottage is listed in the Heritage Register. So I don't know if that means they have to put in a wooden rail to match the design of the cottage versus a metal one. So that would be the only concern.
Either way, they'd have to do it to whatever code, right? So
But well, code, yeah, building, I think wooden or metal would meet building code. So it's the question of the heritage side.
There's nothing,
But I mean, it doesn't matter. Let's fund the railing because it's a safety thing.
Yep.
So it just means there's one little checkbox that'll have to be done before they spend the money.
Perfect. Okay, no,
Were you really on the last
Objection to
one now,
that?
truly?
Do-
Truly, really on the last-
Really,
do you want to
Julie?
just give them $2,000? So it looks normal?
Yeah, recommend the 2,000 and
2,000,
then
Thank you.
I'm quite sure the question will come up at council as to whether it needs heritage.
Do
You
we
know-
ever, like, say it ended up costing 1,700, do we ever ask for the $300 back? Once they do their report?
No?
No, we give them a bucket of paint. We tell them to winter size it in a heritage way.
They've actually given us a quote, I think, in there for, I thought I saw,
Yeah, there was.
yeah. For that one, so it's gonna cost, they've just rounded 19 something up to 2,000, so it's,
Well, didn't they ask for 1999?
well, I can't remember. I gotta find it now too.
2520 for the quote.
Oh, yeah, it's 1,999.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
said 2,000.
Another one.
Yeah.
Then,
So. Well, actually, the quote they've got is for 2,500 plus GST, so 2,600. So
But
they
they're
must
covering
be,
a chunk of it themselves, so
yeah, so
Which is
if
good.
2,000 is,
Yeah.
that's fine, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
And so the last one, Bobby, here you are, is the reconsideration of the grant that came forward initially in the spring for Birch.
And that information is in an email from you, right?
it's also on the revised agenda.
Oh, I was opening up my agenda notes agenda.
Oh, well, that should be in there.
No, I didn't log out and log in again to
Okay.
update.
Did they come back with answering all the questions that we had? Did they address all the questions we had the last time?
We had the question about the $5,000 grant from the community foundation that wasn't showing on their income statement.
Yeah.
So they did send us, and it's part of the agenda, it's included in the application that was sent out. It's a revised agenda that now shows a budget of 6,000 for the grant and 5,000 for the Bowen Island Community Foundation grant as well. So total grant revenue of 11.
any comments? I mean, I have started everyone. Karen, what do you think? What was your thoughts on?
Can I just go last? I would just want to look at it one more time.
Okay, sure.
Okay, Steph,
Allison.
when did you send the revised agenda?
Yesterday?
It's not coming up in my inbox.
I can resend it to you. Right to the top of the pile.
Well, I've been looking at it all. I don't know why. Well, okay, I've got it here. Let me open it up again. Well, that's just the scorecards. It doesn't have.
It's not opened. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm trying to clean it out. Sent it yesterday? Project budget for grant application, was that the,
Here it's oh, Kristen sent you the application at 12:32, yeah, on Monday.
yesterday? Yeah, okay.
And then I would have, I'll find mine after.
what are we
Okay.
debating here on this one?
Well, I
Get
guess
some kind of
I
conversation
had
going.
a bunch of questions because we're now at the end of the year and they don't seem to need any money. Like the feasibility work was funded by, and then there's 5,000 contractor expenses, which I just noticed. So I don't know if that was the, a payment to,
They're showing a year-to-date loss of 9,000.
yeah, so they're 2,500 for accounting and 5,000 for, and then a few other sundry expenses.
Is
But-
there anyone who objects to giving Birch their full ask?
Well, I guess I just have one small question. One of the deliverables was for working on something through the Housing Advisory Committee. And committee members serve without remuneration. So if part of the grant is, started screen sharing, is to pay that contractor amount, and I'm not sure who that's to. If you look at number 7, it says finalize report by a housing advisory committee with recommendations for moving ahead with a community-owned housing organization. So if funds are being paid to somebody through the Birch grant, and everybody else is, and that individual is doing the work on the housing advisory committee. So I was, that action I didn't see as being a Birch action. It was more an individual members of the housing committee action.
So Allison, but is this allowed if the person's on the committee?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. It's sort of going around the back door, but I don't know, and I guess they've got the feasibility money to paid for the other things. So there's the BC Housing Grant, and that seems to be matching with the feasibility study expenses. So
Councillor Morris, Birch has their own board and they would contract, I guess, with the contractors to get the work done that they need to do.
yeah, and I don't know what the contractor, I guess, who the 5,000 was paid to for the contractor.
I mean, I feel they are showing a year-to-date loss, so I think they are demonstrating the need for the funding.
Yeah, but I guess why is the loss year to date? Is it for paying for time spent working on a housing advisory committee function? And then if you look at the development project for lot 1, they were talking about having finished it by the end of 2024, but there's been no recommendations coming forward or anything, as far as I know, in the agenda planner for final presentations.
Well, how about this, Councillor Morris? What about if we leave it to the committee to make the recommendation? That
Yeah.
still is just a committee recommendation. That still has to go to council. If
Yeah.
there's members of council that share your concerns, then they can make that.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
I did, yeah. Okay, so for everyone else, would everyone feel comfortable recommending to council to support Birch with their full ask? I like this new way of voting, Yvonne. It's just a fun. Get the
Is this like you learned in
spreadsheet. This is
Mexico?
now the way we do it.
I'm like, yes, with the consideration that it's legal.
I'm not
We'll
quite
leave it
there.
to council to have this discussion and to sort that out. But if they determine that it's okay, we recommend that they go
Yeah.
forward. So then to recap, we
Okay.
have approved all of the asks, but for IDLC with the caveat that any equipment is portable so that they can take it with them. Is that
It's
correct?
not any equipment that the grant be used for portable equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll write a letter to them to sort of clarify that and provide some context for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Good job.
Excellent. Oh, let's see here at our agenda.
That was the
Information.
end of it, wasn't it?
That was it.
Well,
Oh, we have here some grant awards. What is this here? I'm just looking at 6.
Information items, just like keeping you
I
guys
see.
looped in on what's happened at council that isn't anywhere related to last year's grant awards, permissive tax exemptions. There's a final report from Tina for the library and from Swim Bowen.
Yeah.
Great.
But you know what? I don't recall there being any voting. Do you see what's on the screen there?
Where?
My share screen, the numbers, and then the comment about IDLC purchasing
Mhm.
portable equipment. Is that showing?
So you want a formal moved seconded resolution that says the committee recommends the following.
Mhm.
Could you just delete the sporting? Would it be a problem if they purchased some other type of equipment for their operation that they thought was needed? Or
No, I
would
think
you
that's
be really
fine.
key to
Yeah.
limit it just to sporting?
Just as long as that was for the kids.
Yeah,
I'm in
Mhm.
support of
Yeah.
this because it's 60 kids, but if they go,
Yeah.
"Look, this is other equipment that we kind of need, but it's not for the kids, I'm not in on
For
that.
this,
Okay,
for
yeah.
the school children, for the student use, yeah. Yeah,
okay, yeah. Student,
And
yeah.
something that's not stationary on that property.
yeah, it says rather than permanent, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Yep.
Steph.
yeah.
So moved.
Second,
Bobby,
What's
Yes.
the next one?
now you
Are
say
you
all in
ready?
favor?
We're
All
ready.
right. I'm just waiting. So do we have it here? All good. So
Yeah,
move.
I think everything, we got 6 there, 2,
Yes.
4, 6, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
That's a lot easier when you've got more money to grant
It
and
is.
say, no, no.
Well, I did say to Kristen, just because we got the money doesn't mean we need to spend it.
That's right.
We're short on money for the multi-use path as of Monday, so,
I
yeah.
thought you were going to say the multi-use building.
No multi-use path.
So are we doing a motion for each one? Or are we doing a blanket motion for all 6?
You just voted on all 6.
Awesome.
Efficiency.
Woo, 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 woo.
Excellent. Okay. Well, then
Okay.
that is everything, I guess, Steph and
Yeah.
staff. Steph and staff. I
Yeah.
guess it's just adjournment then. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. How was your golf
So
game,
fun.
Murray?
Thank you.
Oh, it was on the simulator. It was okay.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
was thinking it was.
It was with a buddy who's over from Victoria, so